Hi, this is the DataMiner intro module within DataMiner Fundamentals. It's a quick introduction on the general concept of what DataMiner is, the deployment options, dataminer.services, some of these things we need to cover in this module. So on our menu we have the following topics. So first of all, we're going to go into a small introduction, what DataMiner is, the ecosystem, how that is built up with a DataMiner agent, DataMiner system, how to deploy it as a service, self-hosted, with or without STaaS, and then some modules that we need to mention in here. And we're going to wrap it up with dataminer.services and the features we find there. All right, so first of all, DataMiner intro. What is DataMiner? If we need to put it in one sentence, we say DataMiner is an agnostic DevOps software platform for any of your monitoring and orchestration needs. So there are a couple of things that in that sentence that I want to highlight. So first one is agnostic. So it means that DataMiner is basically capable of communicating and getting the data and controlling the data from any kind of system. We are vendor independent. We have the possibility to communicate with any kind of protocol, if it's a REST API, a web API, or if it's still some proprietary binary things, anything you name it, we can basically monitor and control the equipment or the systems. So that's a very important thing, that you don't have any gaps in your overall view of your system, basically. We also see the DevOps keyword there. Basically, you are able to continuously develop and operate your system and deploy new solutions on there in a continuous way, which is very powerful these days to continuously improve your system. So DataMiner is a very open platform that allows you to do all of these things yourself, develop things, build, further improve items, but also continuously deploy new items on there. Of course, monitoring is important to establish that digital twin of your system, so we can do all the gathering of the information, generate all the alarms real time, have that visibility on your complete ecosystem. So we basically mimic everything into the DataMiner system of your operational environment. Of course, orchestration is these days also very important. Not just simple automation is possible, but you can really take it to the next level to do full orchestration with profile loads and full management of resources, bookings, and all of these things. All those components are available in the DataMiner system to build full orchestration. Now you can see it's a powerful platform. It has lots of goodies on there, but we'll take it step by step and first build upon that foundation we have. Now, first one is the ecosystem that we want to look at. Where is DataMiner located a little bit? How do we need to see that within the environments that we're working here? So we've put here DataMiner in the centerpiece, where we have a number of DataMiner nodes that are in a cluster or not in a cluster, self-hosted, not self-hosted, doesn't really matter. So you have some compute nodes here that are doing the DataMiner magic, you could say. Southbound, they will be communicating with your complete operational system. So they can directly go southbound to the equipment you have, to the services you might be running in the cloud. So any information you have somewhere available, if it's direct or indirect through other systems, doesn't really matter. We can gather that information and pull it up into your DataMiner system to start building upon that. Northbound, we have various possibilities to make that information or that data available. We will, of course, be using mainly the DataMiner clients, the web interfaces, and DataMiner Cube. But you can also build portals. You have APIs you can make available, all kinds of offloading or OSS interfacing. You can very easily get the information out of the DataMiner system as well. That's very powerful and very important for a DataMiner system. That is that you can easily get the information in there southbound. You can develop drivers yourself and connectors to get it in there. And you can also easily make that available northbound for any kind of user or for any kind of system. Also eastbound, we can interface with systems like a provisioning database and things like that are also available. So that's a little bit where we position DataMiner, southbound, northbound, eastbound. We can have lots of interfacing with lots of different systems. So that's really important, that open character that a DataMiner system has. All right. One important cornerstone of a DataMiner system is a connector. And I want to take a little bit more time on a connector, because a connector really allows you to interface with any kind of system southbound. So we have a connector in a DataMiner system. It's like a plugin. You can plug it into a DataMiner system and it allows you to communicate with anything. So a connector basically explains to DataMiner how DataMiner can communicate with a specific system and how it can fetch that information or how it can control and change settings on there. So all of that is defined in a connector. So a connector has all of that in there. And as I mentioned before, it can be going through HTTPS, web APIs, REST APIs, XML, JSON. It can be a message bus system. It can be also still proprietary things, binary things. All of these things, even serial communication, all of that is possible within a connector. If there is some kind of way of remotely getting that information, then we can put it in a connector and plug it into a DataMiner system and have it in there. Once you have your systems or your data coming in from your systems, then you have one uniform way of managing all that system, all that data. So if I choose vendor X, Y, or Z, it doesn't really matter. It will always come in and have that uniform way of making that information available, and I can start playing with all the data and start building upon that. So a connector also, and that's an important part, it also contains how to represent that data into the DataMiner system. So if I take information, for instance, from a switch, if that switch is a Cisco switch or an Arista switch, I don't really care about that. I want to see a table with all the interfaces, for instance, and see all the bandwidth utilization on there. So how we represent that and which kind of information we show in what kind of layout is also added into a connector. So a connector defines how to communicate with the system, but also defines how to represent that into the DataMiner system. So that's how we can easily get information from any kind of data source into the DataMiner system. We'll talk more about connectors later on as well when we are adding some systems or elements to the DataMiner system. Now, if we take a look at how this is being built up to the UI, you could say. So at the bottom, we have our actual data source. If it's a physical equipment or if it's a cloud service or anything, it doesn't really matter. In this case, we have, for instance, a switch. And therefore, we need a connector to be able to communicate with that. So a connector, we add that to the DataMiner system. So then DataMiner knows how to communicate with that specific type of device or system or cloud service. So, but it also represents how it will look and feel in the UI. So in here, we will see all the information coming back from that switch, for instance, with all the interfaces and all the utilization of those interfaces. So that's the digital twin, as we call it, of your device that we have added onto this system. So note the connector defines the communication and the representation. So with that one connector, I can add like 100 elements there. So I might have 100 switches. So I have one connector and then I have like 100 elements, 100 switches that I add into my DataMiner system. Now, I want to, of course, define also some alarming and trending, and that's done through templates. So I can add a template layer on top of that. So an alarm template defines how or when a device or a system needs to go into alarm. When is the temperature too high? When is the signal level too high or too low, or the bandwidth or any kind of parameter I have? So all the parameters coming back from the data source, you can put thresholds on there and define when they are going into alarm or when they are in a good shape. So that defines your alarm thresholds. And note, if I have 100 of those switches, some might use an alarm template which are a little bit more strict. Some of them might be a little bit more relaxed. So you have different alarm templates potentially for different equipment that are maybe in a different location or that have different services running through it. So I can adapt my alarm templates to the situation where I need. So alarm templates is a flexible way of creating different alarm templates for different groups of elements. Same thing for a trend template. A trend template defines which parameters are being trended, typically like CPU, bandwidth, temperature, signal level, memory. All of these things are interesting parameters to see them over time, because if an alarm is happening, for instance, on a specific audio output level here, I immediately want to maybe see in a trend graph, how did we get to that situation? Was it something that's quickly degraded, or did it already start yesterday at 2 o'clock? Then I need to look at what happened at 2 o'clock yesterday that started the degrading of that level. So the trending is a very important and powerful feature, but as an administrator, you need to activate the trending on the specific parameters that are of interest to be trended. That's done through a trend template. And again, my 100 switches, some of them could be trending more or less parameters depending on which trend template I applied on those elements. So maybe some of my core switches have more trending activated than some of my bases or other switches there. So that's a little bit how it works. So we have our equipment, we have a connector or data source, we have our connector, we have our element that is added on top of that with some alarm and trend templates defined on top of that. So that's the stack that we will build up. In the configurator, we will be building that stack ourselves. In the first part here, the fundamentals, we are assuming that this is already configured. Somebody already added connectors to the system, added elements, configured alarm and trend templates on there, and we already have a fully configured stack available. So that's in the first part already available. Later on, we will also build it ourselves as well. Okay, so small word on the alarming. So we do see in the bottom of the alarm console also the different alarm severities. So what do we have as alarm severity? Next to the normal situation, we can have a warning alarm, we can have a minor alarm, a major alarm, and a critical alarm. And you can see the associated alarm colors that are assigned to it. Small side note, it is possible to change those alarm colors. So if you want to have different color coding, that is possible. You can look that up in our docs help as well. Maybe you want to match it with another system or something like that, or you are used to other colors. No problem. Okay, so what is a DataMiner agent and what is a DataMiner system? So a DataMiner agent is one single DataMiner compute node. It consists out of the core DataMiner modules, and it has also some extension modules to it. But the main concept is that with one single DataMiner agent, you have all the features and the functionality you have in a DataMiner system, basically. So you don't need special modules or nodes to do special things there. No, everything is available from the get-go, even with a smaller system. So as soon as you start with a DataMiner system, you have all the features available. The only reason you go into multiple nodes is more for scaling purposes, because there's limited compute power available in one node, so we need to scale up and add multiple DataMiner nodes or DataMiner agents into a so-called DataMiner system. So that's what a DataMiner system is. It's just a combination of a bunch of DataMiner nodes or DataMiner agents. Now, the cool thing of a DataMiner system is that this really acts as one single entity towards the user. As a user, I don't really know if I connect to a DataMiner system with only one node or 3 nodes or 10 or 20. I don't really know that. It's just going to have more nodes if we need more capacity into a DataMiner system. That's the only reason why we scale a DataMiner system, to have more capacity in there. But everything automatically synchronizes and makes everything available on every compute node there. So that's quite transparent for a user. Okay, so now if we want to build a DataMiner system, let's take a look at the deploy options. And the first one is the easiest one. It's just spin up a DataMiner system as a service. As a service is very easy, very convenient. You can do that on dataminer.services. So that's the first step here. Go to dataminer.services. That's a little bit your starting point. That's where you need to be to manage everything about your DataMiner systems. In dataminer.services, you can just add a new DataMiner system by clicking on Add New DataMiner System, and you go to DataMiner as a service, and then you can just follow the wizard. I'll immediately do it in a demo. You can follow the wizard to just specify the details here on the left-hand side to spin up a DataMiner system. So the only thing you need to do is you need to choose an organization, give it a name, and give a username and password, and it will start deploying a new DataMiner system in there. I'll immediately do that in a demo. So this is the easiest way of doing that. It means that everything is taken care of for you. So all the DataMiner compute nodes and storage and all of that is handled in the dataminer.services environment. Let's take a look at that. So if I pull up the dataminer.services, let's maybe just log out for a second so that you can see the login screen. So if I go to dataminer.services, I can sign in with any of the identity providers specified on the top, or I can specify and sign in with email and have an email and password that I need to create here. I can sign up and just create a new email address and add one here. I won't do that here because I want to use yet another email password combination here that I need to remember, but I will use my Microsoft account that I have. So I already have a username password there. I'll leverage that one and link to that one. That's what I use in here. So if I click on that one, it automatically logs in with my Microsoft account, which is linked to my email address. So once I log in, note that I have already some systems available in here. So on the upper right hand side, you can see the organization I'm in. So you can see I'm here in the Skyline Academy organization. And within the Skyline Academy organization, you can see some systems that have been added in here as well, a demo system and some training DMAs from older training DMAs that we will need to clean up at some point. So, so there are some DataMiner systems available, but you might not have a DataMiner system yet, and I'm just going to ignore that there are any DataMiner systems. So let's just assume that they are not there. Well, first of all, you have the possibility to click on the organization if you are in multiple organizations and switch an organization. So I can go, for instance, to my BERT VDB tests. I have a couple of tests systems there which are not online anymore. But that's how it works with multiple organizations. But anyhow, if you have an organization or not, if you have a DataMiner system or not, let's all ignore that. The only thing I'm interested in is adding a DataMiner system. That button will always be available there for you as soon as you log in and created an account onto the dataminer.services platform. You have that blue button there. So let's click on that blue button, add DataMiner system, and there we can go for DataMiner as a service. I'll talk about self-hosted in just a minute. So we're going to go for DataMiner as a service. Again, go for the blue option. And then we have that page where we need to specify all the details of my DataMiner system. Well, all the details, it basically just is an organization and a name I need to give it. So you need to choose in which organization, give it a name, and then still some username and password. So I'm going to ignore that I have already the Skyline Academy organization. I ignore that. It's not there. I actually have different organizations. I ignore that. I will create a new one. So you can also play around with that and create a new organization and a new DataMiner system. So create new, and there I will give it a name, for instance, Bert underscore training, or beware if you use underscore or if you use space or if you use dot, you will see that the URL won't take that over, because the URL cannot contain any dots or underscores or anything like that. So I'm just going to go, for instance, for Bert space training, and it will suggest as URL Bert training in one word. Okay, I'm fine with that. So you can create that organization Bert training, and all good. If it would already be in use, it would indicate that to you. It needs to be unique, that is for sure. So within my BERT training, my new organization that I just created, I can create a DataMiner system, give it a name. So that's just going to be a demo system that I will create. And the URL is suggested as demo, same principle again. And here you can then see the full URL of this specific DataMiner system. So this will be HTTPS demo-BERT training on dataminer.services. So that's my full URL of my DataMiner agent that I will, or my DataMiner system that I will spin up. Okay, so just give it a name for your organization, a name for your DataMiner system, and then we can continue. Yeah, time zone, I'm fine with that. The username, I'm fine with that. I'm going to use a password here. Can you go away? So I will be specifying a password. So you can see that there are certain things that need to be met with the complexity. So that's now everything matched here. So I need to match that again. So here I go, I have 2 times the same password here. You can peek at the password as well if that would be necessary. Make sure you remember this password because you will need that to be able to log in again afterwards. I agree, and then I can deploy this DataMiner system. So now it will deploy this DataMiner system into the cloud and it will make that available. It takes about maybe 10 minutes or so to make this DataMiner system available for you. So yes, you can update the password. So you can see it is initializing 10-15 minutes. That's about it that it will require to spin up this DataMiner system. So now I'm in the BERT training organization and I have one DataMiner system demo, the demo system that I'm building in my training organization. Now I have to wait a little bit. While we are waiting, we can continue with our slides a little bit more. Yeah, one small remark. If you create a new organization, you do have some credits to be able to start a DataMiner system like I just do here, but you can only run it for a week. So after a week, it will stop again because those compute resources are consuming some credits and I don't have unlimited credits in the cloud, but they are limited. You can of course purchase more credits if you want to spin it up for a longer period of time. Now let's go back to our slides. So what did I do? Let's go back one slide. So on the dataminer.services homepage, I clicked on the blue button to add a dataminer system. I set dataminer as a service, and then I got the page where I specified the name for my organization. I created a new one actually, and I specified the name for my system, specified the password, and I start deploying that. That's how simple it is to create a dataminer system, and you can start working on that. Of course, actual deployment of a dataminer system or building a dataminer system is more going to be for the configurator part. In the fundamentals part, we are more assuming that a dataminer system has already been built for us. So we will take a look at some of our training systems that already have some more to it, because our new dataminer system that we are just adding here will be rather empty. Only one element will be on there. But once it is available, you will have the possibility to see your demo or training system. You can access the home page, which opens up the applications onto your dataminer system. Go to dashboards, for instance. You can immediately jump into the monitoring. There will be one element in there for now. And you can also open it up in the dataminer Cube desktop app to see your dataminer system in there. Now, connecting to the dataminer system and discovering the dashboards, the monitoring, the cube, all of these things will be coming up in the next module where we will discover this getting connected things. But for now, I've started my dataminer system, and then we will be able to connect to it. Now, if I will add elements to there, how does that work? Because where is my dataminer system actually running if it's running as a dataminer as a service? So dataminer as a service, or DaaS, will make compute power available in the dataminer.services cloud environment, the green box here, that's somewhere managed in Microsoft Azure. And it will make sure that you have the necessary compute power available there, the storage for your trending, your alarms, your configuration, all the dataminer .services features are there with CI/CD, dashboard sharing, chat ops, all of these things are available. And I can start adding elements onto my dataminer system and start monitoring, for instance, cloud services and all of these things that are available on the internet. But what if I have some data sources that are self-hosted, or let's say on-prem? For instance, here in the building, I have a couple of switches, and I want to add those switches to that dataminer system. Well, those switches are not just on the internet, so I will need to make sure that that dataminer system can access those dataminer or those switches. And I can do that by setting up a VPN, an Azure VPN gateway. It's a standard Azure VPN gateway I can configure, and that allows me to make a connection between my dataminer system that is managed in dataminer.services and my data sources that I have on-prem. For instance, some switches I have here that I want to start monitoring and controlling from the dataminer system. So once I set up that VPN gateway, I can add those elements, start the monitoring and the control of those switches or any data source that I have on-prem. Let's maybe move my video on the other side so that you can see some the full picture there. All right, so that's dataminer as a service. Let's also take a look at the self-hosted options. So you do have self-hosted with or without STaaS. Let's first go for the easy option with STaaS. With STaaS, or storage as a service, this means that you only move the compute nodes on-prem or self-hosted in your cloud provider, and you still leverage the STaaS solution or storage as a service solution from dataminer.services. This makes it a lot easier because you don't have to spin up your own database clusters, and this STaaS solution is leveraging the Cosmos DB and table storage from Microsoft Azure. So those are cloud native storage solutions that scale and very easily, and that are having a high availability from the get-go. So that's a very important feature that you can leverage from your on-prem or self-hosted DataMiner compute nodes. So you just spin up some DataMiner compute nodes and you can connect them to the storage solution that is available in dataminer.services. That allows you to really easily scale your system. You don't have to spin up a whole bunch of compute nodes for that database, do all that configuration up front. No, you always have that secure and reliable storage solution available in dataminer.services. Now, so if you want to do everything yourself, that is possible with a fully self-hosted solution. And that basically means that you have all the compute power for your DataMiner nodes self-hosted, you have your Cassandra nodes self-hosted, you have your Elastic nodes OpenSearch self-hosted nodes available. So of course, if you want some redundancy and all of these things, you might need indeed a couple of nodes as mentioned here. And as a minimum, you already have like 9 nodes here to have some bit of redundancy there. So therefore, the as a service solutions are a little bit more easier, you could say, to spin up and to get started with. But it is possible to have everything fully self-hosted, and those self-hosted nodes can still be cloud connected to leverage cloud native features such as sharing of dashboards or CI/CD and all these kind of things in there. All right. So now a small word on the modules we have that are on top of the DataMiner system that are worth mentioning in this context here. Not all of the modules are covered in the training videos that we are covering here. So only like correlation, automation, and SLA will be covered. So SLA is in configurator, correlation automation is in the sysadmin, or a little bit configurator as well for the automation. But I want to mention these modules because they could be interesting for your environment, and then you are aware that they exist and you can look up some more information or take a look at other videos about those specific modules. So I will take a look at it row by row. First row at the top there, the mobile gateway, the correlation, and the automation is the first one I want to mention. So mobile gateway is the possibility to have SMS capabilities in your system, where the DataMiner system can not only notify you through email but also use text messaging whenever something is happening. It's not only about receiving text messages, but you can also send text messages with SMS to the DataMiner system to do certain control as well. So just be aware that this is a possibility. The correlation and automation sometimes go hand in hand because they can be linked to each other. The correlation engine is able to detect certain situations in your DataMiner system and react on that. One of the things to react on it is running an automation script. So that's why they come sometimes hand in hand. But they could also be used, for instance, to detect the situation and to not trigger an automation script, but to, for instance, generate a new correlated alarm or group certain alarms together into a correlated alarm. So that's what the correlation engine can do. It can detect if certain conditions are happening, A and B, then I will react on it and do certain things and notify the operator, for instance, by generating a correlated alarm or trying to fix the problem myself with running an automation script. So that brings me to the automation scripts. That's a very powerful engine where you can generate all kinds of automation scripts, ranging from very simple drag and drop or drop down kind of automation scripts, no programming skills needed. But you can also create full C# automation scripts, really go very far into complex automation scripts doing a lot of things in there. But it really allows you to automate repetitive tasks, but also to make sure that an operator just needs to click on a button and a whole procedure is being executed. It avoids that there is room for error because nicely the procedure is being executed because it's all fully automated and tested into an automation script. But it can really be used to do full orchestration basically as well, and generate a lot of automation scripts into full service orchestration and things like that. The second row is, first of all, EPM, experience and performance management. This is all about high volume of objects. We can have in our environment a number of switches, for instance, but typically those are still manageable, but sometimes certain objects go into the millions, like CPE objects, customer premises equipment, or satellite terminals, or these kind of high volume objects. So if we go into high volume, you typically also go into a different mechanism in terms of gathering the information, the data. More the polling mechanisms are typically different. Not so high-speed polling, but more round-robin kind of ways, for instance. But also the way you do alarming. Typically, you don't do any alarming on the lower levels, but then you do more aggregation onto a hierarchical structure, and you start doing alarming on the aggregated objects into your hierarchy. So that's more the EPM, where we gather the information from the lower levels, let it bubble up so that you have averages or min-maxes going to the top, and then see if a certain area in your EPM system is in trouble or if certain things need your attention. So that was EPM. Spectrum analysis. It's the possibility, DataMiner has a possibility to integrate with any spectrum analyzer from any vendor. With multiple users, you can connect to that and see the traces. One by one trace is taken for one user, for a second user, for one user, for the second user. So you can really share one spectrum analyzer with different users, use it at the same time. And it can automatically do RF performance monitoring, analyze the spectrum traces, see if any problems are occurring there, generate alarms 24/7 automatically, for instance, can be done with that. IAM is inventory and asset management. It is the possibility to integrate with an asset management database. So we can get the information from an asset management database to populate the DataMiner system automatically, or we can also get the information from the equipment and automatically provision your asset management database with the correct firmware version, for instance, from your systems that we monitor in DataMiner. And then we also have the SRM, the service and resource management, allowing you to really have more resources that you can book into the DataMiner system, so we can make keep track of availability of resources and use those into bookings for full service management, a core component in our media ops, for instance. And the SLA is something we will cover in our module on the configurator, where we can basically track the availability of your services. So if you have services in your DataMiner system, at the end of the month, you want to know how well you performed and what the availability was of your services. With SLAs, you can track that availability, get early warnings, for instance, if you would not meet your requirements of your SLAs. So it's more from a business perspective. You can also manage your DataMiner system or your operations. All right, so that's a little bit about the modules. As a final part in this video, we will take a look at the dataminer.services, where we already were spinning up that DataMiner system. Well, there are a couple of those apps that I want to cover here as well. So above your DataMiner system, the demo system that I was just spinning up, I do have a couple of items I want to mention here at this stage. So the ones I want to mention is collaboration, catalog, sharing, and community. Those 4 I want to take a look at. Admin, DataMiner system is for later on then. All right, so the first one is the collaboration. The collaboration is the possibility to collaborate with the Skyline guys to manage your project, basically. So whenever you have projects ongoing, orders coming in, there will be orders and projects popping up here where you can see what needs to be done, what needs to be delivered, all of the items, the tasks that are in there, track the progress and see how the project is evolving. So there you can collaborate with the people that are building your system in collaboration with you, and together work on this platform to guide this project to a good end. So that's the project collaboration. The second one, catalog, is a very interesting one. Let me also pop that up in a small demo here. So I'm on dataminer.services. In the meantime, my demo system has started, so it is available. So in my training BERT here organization, I have started this demo system. So I can click on the monitoring and it will open up in a new tab page. So you can see that full URL, demo-BERT training on dataminer.services /monitoring. And it has one DataMiner agent that is started in there. But that's for later on. We're not going to go into details on that. That's for later on. The things I still want to mention in this intro module is the ones on top here, and that was the catalog that I want to take a look at. The catalog really allows you to have a whole bunch of goodies immediately available with one click of a button. It has all the connectors in there, so we have 7,000-8,000 thousands of connectors in there, but also automation scripts, visual overviews, solutions are all in there and readily available from the catalog with one click to deploy it. So you can search in there. So for instance, Microsoft is just a keyword, and it will search for all kinds of things that are available. So you have some type filtering on the left-hand side. But I was looking, for instance, for the Microsoft platform. So the Microsoft platform, let's add platform to it. Microsoft platform. So we have the Microsoft platform, the connector, the visual overview, and an SNMP version. So I just go for the regular one here. If I go to that one, you will have the full help in here that is available with all the information I need to know about this connector. We have some versioning available there, and I can deploy a trial onto my system. So I'm in the BERT training. It is a trial, so only for testing and evaluation purposes. I didn't purchase it yet. It's a test system. So I can select my demo system and I can just deploy the trial on there. Beware, we'll be coming back to that later on when we are getting into more details. But that's the catalog that allows you to have a massive amount of ready to deploy solutions available onto the catalog, and just with one click of a button deploy it onto your system. Now, the catalog contains private item and public items. So the public items are like the Microsoft platform, but I'm also able to develop my own drivers or automation scripts and things like that to put it on the catalog as a private item only available for me, so that I can easily deploy it onto my my dev system, my training system, my production system, my validation platform. So you can just pick and choose then to deploy certain items onto certain systems that you have available in dataminer.services. So not only public items, but also private items are available there. Okay, so the catalog, the sharing item, let me show you that one. So sharing really allows you to share information with third parties in an easy way. Sharing, we're going to later on, we're going to look at the dashboards that you can create on a DataMiner system. So if I go to my DataMiner system, my demo system that I just created before, I do have the possibility to go to dashboards and create certain dashboards. I'm not going into details now because we still need to discover all of these things, but you can create some nice compelling dashboards from a DataMiner system. I have them available then in my demo system, but what if I created one of those dashboards and I want to share it with somebody else, somebody that doesn't have access to my DataMiner system? Well, there you can easily share it with anybody in the world. And if I go to my sharing page, I will see all the things that have been shared with me. And I can see that a bunch of things have been shared with me. And just to pick one of them, it's from a couple of years ago. If I open it up on the right-hand side, I can click there. I can see that Thomas Hunkel actually shared this with me a couple of years ago. And it's from the Arista organization. The demo system is Arista Lab. So apparently Arista has in their lab a DataMiner system. And they created a nice dashboard to keep a 360 overview of the Arista spine leaf fabric. So they shared that with me. I have no access to Arista or the Arista lab, but I have a share here that comes in and I can click on there and I can access that share from anywhere in the world. I can just load that through the sharing.dataminer.services. Let me click that again. So the sharing.dataminer.services link is opening up here, and I'm not navigating to their DataMiner system. I'm navigating through the sharing, and the sharing will get that information from their DataMiner system in a secure manner and bring it over here. So that's the only thing I can see from their DataMiner system, whatever they have put on this dashboard. And they gave me access actually to a number of switches here that I can choose, and I can choose one of the ports here and then see the details of the port. So it's a dashboard that gives me some nice overview of their switches in a very easy way. Without knowing too much about DataMiner and all of these things, I just have this dashboard available for me. So it's a convenient way to share anything you have from a DataMiner system. You throw it onto a dashboard and you share it with a third party very easily in a secure manner through the dataminer.services environments. Okay, so that was the sharing, and the last item which is on that row of DataMiner apps here is that community. That community, the community.dataminer.services. I've already mentioned it during the welcome video. There you can find lots of information about DataMiner. If you register, you can become a DevOps professional. You can join the DevOps professional program. You have the questions section, which is really great if you have anything where you're stuck or you want to have some ideas on how to do certain things. You can throw it into a question and all our experts are immediately contributing and providing you answers. The whole learning section is very powerful. Also, these videos can be found in there. That's very powerful with the open classroom that I mentioned, the certifications that I mentioned, and lots of other things, up to a swag shop that is in there. So lots of things to find out on the DataMiner community, but also to keep you posted on the recent items that have been happening. Is the blog post also nice and cool to follow up on, of course. All right, so DataMiner community, definitely something to keep an eye on, because there you get more and more information about the DataMiner system. So that's the module that we had to cover here, DataMiner intro. So it gave you a little bit of an introduction on the DataMiner system, what it is, just in one phrase, but also how to deploy it. One DataMiner agent, multiple DataMiner agents in the DataMiner system. We can spin that up as DataMiner as a service, or do some of it self-hosted as well, using STaaS, yes or no. that's up to you. And then once you have that, you connect it to the cloud and you have some nice dataminer.services goodies, as for instance, sharing with a dashboard with a third party. All right, so I hope you enjoyed this session. See you in the next one.